Hey you guys, welcome back to another video here at Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today because in today's episode I'm going to share with you 5 different wreath making ideas and DIYs for your front door this Christmas season. Now you know that I'm always telling you that you only get one chance to make a first impression, and that is at the front door. And so that's why I want to share these ideas with you. Now if you sell on Etsy or if you just gave them away to your family members and friends but you want to learn more, we're going to talk about my private group where I teach all the techniques and the selling techniques, but we're gonna give you more on that later on in the video. All right, so before we get started, I want to ask you that if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. If you already subscribed, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss the rest of Christmas here at Ramon at Home. And also don't forget to share the video with your friends on Facebook, on Instagram, and on WhatsApp. Why? Well, because it is free and it really helps this channel. Are you guys ready to learn everything about wreath making? Let's get started. All right, you guys, so for our very first Christmas wreath on this beautiful compilation of ideas, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a grapevine wreath, and you know my trick. I like to add a little bit of garland so that I have a place to attach. I'm going to start with some of this beautiful mesh. This is a silver mesh because this wreath is going to be done in black, white, and silver, which I think is very festive. So I'm going to start right here on the top. Now I want to start by telling you that this wreath right here, it's inspired by the last wreath we did on my wreath making private group, Ramon at Home Masterclass. Actually, you know what? Let me show you what that wreath looked like real quick. All right, you guys, so this is another one of the wreaths from our Masterclass, and I just want to share with you real quick how stunning this black and white and disco balls wreath. This is going all the way to Illinois, and we're super excited for our friend to have it on her home. It is absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait for you to send us pictures. Thumbs up if you want to see more wreaths like this made for the holiday season. All right, so now that you guys know what that wreath that we made on the Masterclass group looks like, this is kind of gonna be like its little baby brother. So it's going to be something similar. That wreath was so beautiful, you guys. It had some massive disco balls and then a beautiful lantern on the inside of it. It was just so beautiful, and I'm so happy to report that that wreath went home to Illinois to one of our viewers, and I really hope that she already received it. It was my pleasure to help her decorate her door this holiday season. Now, if you want to look at my shop and what's available, don't forget to go to Etsy, and there's going to be a link in the description box below so you guys can check out the wreaths that are available for this season. And so this one will be as well as soon as we're done with it. All right, so now that I'm done with the mesh, look how pretty that looks. Like I said, this is just an accent, so of course it's not going to be all the mesh. I'm going to bring this beautiful ribbon that has lots and lots of glitter. I'm gonna bring over here my wire cutters and my scissors, and we're going to dovetail real quick right here. Remember, we fold in half, wire to wire, and then we cut towards the wire. That's the way we're going to do a dovetail. And so now what I want to do is I'm going to do smaller loop bows. So I want this to be very loopy. I'm gonna actually let the ribbon just hang on the floor because I don't want it to be on my way. So I'm going to go like this. I want my loops to be maybe about probably 5-inch loops. And remember, we're going to do 3 loop bows. We have to measure, but they don't have to be exactly the same. You know, I'm actually an opponent of wreaths when they have bows that are so perfectly symmetrical. I think they look more beautiful when they are uneven, so there's less pressure for you if you're trying to make your own. So I'm gonna grab a wire right here, and then I'm going to attach, after I fluff, right here on the top. So for that, I'm going to look for one of these bristles, and that's why we want to put one of these garlands on a wreath. Now I'm gonna push all the way down on the garland, and I'm going to go like this, and that's going to give me my first 3-loop bow right here. So I'm gonna twist my wreath like this because what I want to do is I want to do maybe a loop right here. Now I'm gonna show you a trick. The best way to do it is like if you fold it half and then you pleat. That's gonna give you that really easy pleat on your wreath. So I'm gonna go right here. That's gonna give us another loop like this. And I'm gonna cut a tail right here. And we're going to dovetail one more time. This ribbon, you guys, it's from At Home. It is absolutely beautiful. It has so much glitter. I just absolutely love it. So we're going to pinch and gather. Once again, we're going to go up, pinch and gather, go up and twist, pinch and gather, up and twist. And we're gonna give ourselves another 3-loop bow. Now, when you are making wreaths, there are so many ways of making wreaths, and nowadays, there are so many great wreath designers. It seems like every day there's more, to be honest. But that's good because, you know, I believe that everybody's best inspiration has to come from some sort of inspiration, right? And for me, that is somebody else's inspiration. So that's why I love to see other people's wreaths, other people's swags, because it inspires me to keep working on my craft, especially on the group, because we're teaching people over there how to do all these things to sell. We're getting ready to put out a content about how to sell on Etsy. We're working on this program on how to successfully sell on Etsy. So that's my pleasure to help people. All right, so now I touch this bow right here. This is a ribbon that you really have to work on. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing right here. So we're going to do another loop. I'm going to make sure that we have a big loop right here. Then we're going to grab 2 bristles. And we're going to twist one more time. Remember, you want those big loops because there will be some picks that are going to cover some of this, like this. And so I'm going to do yet another loop right here, putting your hand under it to kind of iron it out. And then we're going to attach like this. So now we get to cut a longer tail right here. So we're going to fold and we're going to dovetail. We're going to stop right here with 2 loops, with 2 bows and a loop. Although I think that, you know what, we could do another bow right here. Oh, let me go on the floor. Sorry, if I disappear. You guys, this is real life. This is how it happens. If you are here in the studio, sometimes I've fallen from step stools. Like, you just don't get to see it because, well, we get it out. But this is exactly what happens when you're working. And I'm not embarrassed. I'm a hardworking person. What can I say? All right, so I'm gonna grab another 3-loop bow. And remember to twist, pinch and gather and twist. And this is going to glitter so beautiful on the outside, because when the sun hits this type of ribbon with all this glitter, it's just going to glisten. So once again, we're going to really tightly. Once it is tight, what you want to do is you want to grab all of these loops, all of the tails. And so now we're going to attach right here. We're gonna grab a ribbon and a wire. And we're going to attach this bow right here. So now we get to cut an even longer tail. Right here. All right, so that's what it looks like. Let me fluff real quick. So far, we have some tails, we have some loops. And as you guys can see, it's already looking absolutely fabulous. But it's just the beginning, because what I have is going to be some picks, and I'm gonna bring my pick basket over on this side. I like to have them all on my hand. And I'm gonna start maybe with this right here. This is a beautiful printed pine, and it has lots and lots of texture. I'm gonna grab my wire cutters over on this side. And I'm gonna start cutting these picks right here. And I'm going to add some glue to it. I'm going to start right here on the bottom. So basically what this is doing is going to start bringing the texture back. We're going to intertwine. I said intertwine, Jameson. By the way, you guys, give it up for Jameson, who's behind the scenes, you guys, filming all of this for you all. You want to come and say hi? There's Jameson, who is working hard.
Back again.
So what are you doing today?
Oh, we are filming and more filming, and we are just excited. We have products is all over the stores, and we have been inspired. We're excited, and let's rock and roll.
All right, thank you. Give it up for Jameson. Woo! And so we're just having a lot of fun making all of these wreaths over there. All right, so I'm gonna start right here. Once again, if you want to join the group, you guys remember to go to Facebook, and there is a post that is pinned to the top of the page, and if you follow those instructions, you can become a member. All right, so I'm gonna add just a few of these sprays, and I'm gonna cut a few more. I also love this particular pine. It is printed, it feels real. Now remember that what happens on the right happens on the left. What goes up must come down, so therefore I'm going to go ahead and start adding some to the top. And once again, that's why we want to add some of the mesh, because this glue will really attach to the mesh. So they wouldn't even, ooh, I just burned myself a little bit. Ow, ow, ow. No problem. You guys, I've been burned so many times that they don't even face me anymore. I just go like, ow. I used to have a boss who, good grief, he literally had calluses on his fingers from all the glue. Especially this Gorilla Glue really gets hot for some reason, which is good because if you're making these wreaths to sell, you don't want your customers to have flying parts all over the place if there's a strong gust of wind. So that's always a good thing. All right, I think we'll stop right here with this one. Look how pretty. This just brought all of the texture back into the wreath, but I'm gonna stop right there because there's a few more items that I want to add, and one of them is going to be this flocked. Remember, we're doing a black and white, so in order to do that, I wanted to add some flocked pieces, and I'm gonna select this guy right here. I'm gonna cut maybe 3 pieces from it. Well, maybe, I'm gonna do 4. I'm gonna do 4 of these. I'm gonna remove this guy over here. And so look how pretty this is. Now, what I like about this one is because you can cut them into 2. And it has some flocked pieces in it, and it's a different type of pine. And I just absolutely adore it. It is chunky. And I'm gonna start right here. So it's just about bringing texture back into the wreath. This one has a little bit of flocking on it. And so it is so cute. And see how that's filling up our wreath? Once again, you can get them long or you can cut them short. In this case, I'm gonna cut them short to kind of fill in all of those spots before we start adding even more beautiful things to the wreath. And I'm always telling you to be generous with the glue, right? That's one of the things that I tell people in the group. The glue is what's going to keep it together, so we don't wanna be cheap with it. I know sometimes we're trying to cut corners, but that's why I'm always telling you it's better to get cheaper mesh and invest on those things that really matter, like the ribbon and the glue and the things that are going to keep our wreath together and make it look spectacular. All right, so I'm gonna add another one up here to the top. And I feel like I could use this one right here too. So 4 out of that stem, I cut it into 4. So it's a good deal for this particular stem. I just absolutely love making these wreaths, you guys. I feel like it's so fun. That added a lot of texture and it started to weave in our beautiful ribbons all throughout to where before it looked kind of flat. So now it's starting to look more intertwined. Look how pretty this is looking. It is absolutely spectacular. And so now that we have, oh, I lifted up and I didn't let you see it, right? So now that we have our ribbon and our stems, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some of these beautiful, let me see. I'm gonna finish with the silver one. So I'm gonna bring in some of these other greeneries that I'm going to use in a second. It's all about the greeneries, but also these ornaments right here, you guys. How absolutely fun are these discable ornaments? And for this guy, I'm going to grab some smaller wire. And I'm gonna wire this together because that other wreath has some spectacular discable. So what I'm, oh, of course, once again in real life, but no problem. Look what's gonna happen here in a second. We're going to glue this guy together and we're just going to press and we're going to let it dry right there. And I would not be surprised if this does the same thing. But you know what, I'm gonna do it on purpose. I'm not sure it doesn't need it. But what I'll do is I'll add some glue around it because we're gonna glue it anyways. But what I need the wire for is to attach. So I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna go in here and I'm going to move my my ribbons, and I'm gonna attach to a bristle here. But at the same time, as you attach to a bristle, what you want to do is to secure it. You're going to add some glue to the bottom of it and just let it rest right there, like that. And so now that, yeah, this one has dried, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm going to do it maybe down here. I'll lift up my ribbon, and I'm going to grab a bristle, and once again, just twist, 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 until you can twist no more. And then what you want to do is grab your hot glue gun and add some glue. All right, you guys, so now that we let everything dry that needed to dry, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna continue with my ornaments, and I'm gonna grab these glitter ornaments. I'm going to add lots and lots of glue. Be very generous once again, and I'm going to lift up my bows right here, and I'm going to go right there. We're trying to create a cluster of ornaments going all the way down. So now this other one, I'm going to go down. Now the reason why I'm using larger ornaments is because I really want to make a statement, right? So the way we do that is by adding larger ornaments to our wreath so they can really show. And then also they continue to push all of the elements towards the front. So I'm going to leave this guy right here for a second as we continue to add some other items. And the other item that I'm going to add, let me see, let me move over to this side. I have some of these white, beautiful pig ferns. Now these are from David Christopher's, and remember, you do get 10% off at David Christopher's. This was a larger pig that I cut, and all you have to do is go to davidchristopher's.com and you'll be able to find it. So I'm gonna add some of this white right here. We're gonna continue to frost our wreath basically. So I'm gonna go right in here, and that's going to add a lot of pizzazz to this wreath. Remember, what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna go ahead and go from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right. I'm gonna go over here, making sure that it really goes into that wreath form, you guys. We want to make sure that it goes to the wreath form through the mesh, and that's what's going to really create that magic. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. Remember, up and down, all the way around. And you're gonna need probably about, I wanna say about 6 of these pigs. I don't wanna put as many because I want to make sure that it sits a little flat. Now, if you are interested, once again, in wreath making, if you wanna learn everything about wreath making, well, you can find us on Facebook. Give it a little bit of a twist so that way it catches the light like that. Now add a few more of these, especially right here with the larger ornaments. I'm gonna add one right here. Actually, maybe right here, like so. And I probably need one more here. So I use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of this. I'm gonna add one right here on the back. And I'm gonna lift up this bow and just add it right there. So as if it comes, look how pretty this is, you guys. It is looking absolutely stunning. We have a few more elements. One of them is going to be this beautiful silver pick. It is going to catch a lot of light as well. I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this particular one, it's a little pricier, so I have to be a little bit more spareful how I insert it. So I'm going to go once again from the top to the bottom. So with this particular one, I'm going to go all the way down like this. So you can really extend, continue to extend the shape of that wreath. And I'm going to do the same with this one right here. So I'm going to lift up everything and just go right here. And so now I'm gonna move in. So that just extended the shape of our wreath. And so now I'm going to move in. And I'm going to grab right here. And I'm going to work my way down. Remember, we only have 6. It is really important that you know how many you have to use. So I'm going to go right here. And then we're gonna bring it in. And that's going to be the last one of this. Right in here. Look how stunning this is. Oh my gosh, with the disco balls and all of these beautiful things in it. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to add one last step, which is going to make it that black and white that we wanted. And so I had this poinsettia from David Christopher's. As you guys can see, it was a poinsettia, but it's not a poinsettia anymore because I've been pulling all of the petals. And so that's because I want to use them as picks versus using it as a poinsettia. And that's what you do. You pull out all the petals, and then what you want to do is you want to separate them. So I have some striped ones and I have some black ones. And I'm gonna start with the striped ones because, well, it is a black and white wreath. So I'm gonna start by adding some glue to the front and the back. And I'm gonna start once again over here on the top. I'm gonna go in like that. And then we're moving to the bottom. Remember, you have to use one element at a time. That's the way we're going to keep it balanced. We're gonna go right here. Look how pretty. I mean, black and white is always so elegant to me. So once again, we're going to go inside, right here, right under. And remember that you have to cascade going down. It is the easiest way to keep it balanced if you just think like that. If you cascade it, going all the way down. I'm gonna introduce this one right here. And I have one last one that I'm gonna put over here towards the top. So beautiful. I really hope you give this a try. Ooh, that one didn't go where I wanted it to go, so I'm gonna have to do it again. Remember, we have to make sure that it goes through the mesh because it is the mesh that is going to keep it in place. It's gonna be gluing through the mesh. So now I have these black ones that I'm also going to add because I feel like this black velvet is so pretty. And look, all you needed was one poinsettia. And I'm always telling the people in the group, when you buy for your wreaths, make sure that you know and you think about how else can I use this? If it is a poinsettia, how else can I take this poinsettia apart? How can I do all of this in order to make my wreaths look more beautiful? Okay, so I'm gonna go over to this side. I'm gonna add right here. And you guys, we are done. Look how absolutely gorgeous this is. I'm gonna put it on the door and give you a quick close-up and you'll see how beautiful this looks. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so here is the end result on this beautiful Glam wreath, DIY. And I just wanna mention real quick, we went ahead and swapped one of the big ornaments to add a few of the little ones right here, the disco balls, and then also another one over here. So this is what the wreath looks like. I absolutely love the way this looks on the door. If I pen out, you'll see that the ribbon goes all the way down and it is just absolutely gorgeous. I really hope that you learned something from adding all of the picks, the greenery, the flag greenery, to adding the ribbons and all of the stems. I cannot wait to read your comments, so be sure to read a comment down below. As I told you at the beginning of this video, we have a private group where we teach everything there is to know about wreath making and how to sell them. If you want to join this private group, you can come to Facebook, look for the post that is pinned to the top, follow the instructions and join our club. You guys, we're creating an amazing community and we're having a lot of fun. We do 8 videos a month. 2 of them are live, so we get to interact and you get to learn everything I know about wreath making and how to sell them. And so now I'm gonna give you some examples of those wreaths that we've done in the private group. Let's take a look. You guys, I'm obsessed with this peppermint snowman theme. I absolutely love it. It is one of my favorite ones that I've done in a long time. I love the detail of the little ribbon just hanging all the way down, draping down. And don't forget to use your mesh as your tool so you can really hang on to all of these ornaments and all of these big items like the peppermints. And don't forget also the ribbon placement to have those tails protruding forward so you can create a lot of texture. I really hope you learned something from this class and I really cannot wait to come back with more, so stay tuned. All right, you guys, so this is the end result on this beautiful traditional with a twist color scheme. I love the little character in the middle, and check out all of these beautiful ornaments. Remember, to create depth and dimension, you have to do your flyaways. What happens on the right happens on the left. What goes up must come down, and everything that goes out always comes in. If you follow these instructions, you too can create beautiful wreaths this holiday season. I really hope you learned some tips and tricks in this class. I cannot wait to come back with more, so stay tuned. Now, if you are interested in how to create wreaths like those, be sure to come and join us on our private group, Ramon at Home Masterclass on Facebook. So now I'm gonna give you another idea on how to create a first statement on your front door. Let's go back to the video. All right, everyone, for this next Christmas DIY, what we're going to do is we're going to change the look of this reindeer. I absolutely love it. He came from Shinoda Design Center. It has this little bow that we're gonna take out, and let me get my scissors and my wires at the ready, and also a wire because I'm gonna need it for the bow. But what we're going to do is we're gonna take this out, and I'm just gonna explain as we go because it's gonna be very, very fun. So the reindeer came from Shinoda, and he comes with this tiny little scarf that, well, we're going to pitch because it's not what we do. Remember, more is more. And then also it comes with all of this greenery that I have to detach. Have to make sure that I cut all these wires. And if you like this reindeer, this is gonna be for the door, by the way, but this also could be so much fun in front of a mirror or just on an entryway table. And like I said, it comes with all of this greenery. So give me a chance while I take all this greenery off, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, so now that I've given it a facelift, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab a little bit of garland and I'm gonna give it a quick fluff. And so what I want to do is attach it right here at the neck. So I'm gonna grab some of the bristles that the garland come with, and I'm just gonna go ahead and attach right here really tightly. I'm gonna do a 3-point attachment, which means we're going to attach 3 points just to make sure that it is very well attached. And this is going to be very dramatic when we're done with it, you guys. You know that I love me some drama for the holiday season, and so I'm super excited to do this one. I've been waiting to do this since I saw this at Shinoda Design Center, and I've been dreaming about this day. Well, the day has come. So now we're going to fold down and we're going to create basically this neck right here on the reindeer so that we can use to attach all of our goodies, because you guys know that more is more and less is less, right? We already talked about that. So now that we have this right here, what we're going to do is we're gonna give it a quick fluff so that way we have bristles to attach to. So it's gonna look like this, making sure that this part right here becomes one. So we attach by grabbing 2 bristles and then also by twisting around. Some of this greenery that came with I'm going to use, so I'm gonna put it right here. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bow with this beautiful velvet ribbon from Walmart. And so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna let it drop on the floor, and I'm gonna grab probably about an 8-inch tail. Then I'm going to go down like this. I'm gonna create about a 8-inch loop, twist and gather, and then go down like this. We're going to twist and gather, and then we're going to spin around, and we're going to do it again about the same size. Twist and gather, twist. We bring it up, and then we're going to create this bow right here, and it's gonna have 2 cute tails, and then I'm gonna have another 2 tails by grabbing another piece of ribbon like this, and by meeting it right here with my bow by pinching, gathering. And so now we have this long tail. Why? Because we like drama, right? And so he's going to be very elegant, very elaborate, and I'm super excited. So we're going to attach our bow with a wire very tightly. We're going to spin around, and then we're going to use this same wire to attach to one of the lines right here on the reindeer, and I'm gonna kind of do it sideways, so that way it's like a sideways focal point. And then we're going to attach our wire by twisting, and so now we're going to be left with all of these tails, and of course we're gonna fluff at the end. So for right now, actually what I'm going to do is bring that little tail forward. All my tails. Now we're gonna have to be really careful because we're using the hot glue gun, you guys, and you know that I'm always talking to you about a clean drop, and because there's a red ribbon, we have to be really careful. But look how dramatic it is going to be. The long tail going on is going to be so much fun. All right, so what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna grab some of those greeneries that the reindeer came with. I'm gonna bring my hot glue gun over to this side so that way I can work faster. So what you want to do is you're going to grab your hot glue gun and then be generous with this. And that's the reason why we added some of that garland, so that we can attach this right here like this. And like I said, you have to be really careful to not get your bow, because we don't want the bow to be all glued, especially if you're making this to sell. I'm always encouraging you to do a clean drop, because when you buy things, you don't want them to be all dirty, right? And don't be afraid to move that bow and to get it all wrinkled. And then at the end, of course, we take a few minutes to fluff it as good as we can. So I'm gonna go over to this side like that. And then I have this other type of greenery, and that's when my cutters come in handy. We're gonna cut some of that stem. We want to be generous with the glue as well. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying these videos this holiday season. I'm having so much fun sharing with you guys all of these beautiful Christmas decorations ideas. Be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know so far which one's been your favorite. I have my own personal favorite. I'm not gonna tell you yet, because I don't think that videos actually came out yet. So there is still some of those beautiful DIYs coming your way that you have no idea what's going to be in the next few weeks. Remember, I always save the best for last. All right, so we're going to attach this into our greenery garland. So basically we're going to do kind of like a collar of it like that. And so now that we have all of these greeneries right here on the neck, what I'm going to is I'm going to bring some of this berry right here, and I'm going to cut it into some pieces. So I'm going to go like that. I'm going to do 1, 2, 4 out of one stem. And the reason why I wanted this one is because it has that red berry and a little bit of snow. And so I just thought it'd be really cute if we add some of this. So I'm going to add one right here on the top, moving my bow. Remember to move that bow so you don't get it all glue dirty. And then I'm gonna add another one, and this one is a thick one, so be sure to be generous with your glue. I'm gonna add it right about here, and then this is the longest one, so I'm gonna make sure that I go down, so that way, remember that everything that goes up must come down, which means you have to use the same element on the top as you do on the bottom. And moving my bow, I'm gonna go ahead and put it right here. You won't see it right now, but I promise you'll see it when I give you a close-up at the door. This is an alternative to a wreath or a swag. You know, here on the channel, we're known for our wreaths and our swags. Well, this is a good alternative if you don't really want to do a wreath or a swag. All right, you guys, so now I have this other red pick, which I also love, and it is super fun. Has all of the red glitter that we need for this particular project. So I'm gonna add this one right here, because this one is tall. I'm gonna make sure that I go on the other side and I add a tall one over on this side. And look how that evens up. It frames the face of the reindeer. I have a little bit more of these that I'm going to add by adding my glue, and make sure they always go down like this so it spills down. I'm gonna add this guy right here. All right, so I am loving the way this is looking, and I have a few more of this red pick, and I just love all of the glitter on it. So I'm gonna add one right on this side. Remember to move your bow so you don't get all that glue all up in it. And then I'm going to make sure that I do one going down so it goes down, because what goes up must come down. Just be generous with your glue, you guys, when you're doing this type of projects. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. All right, so now I'm gonna add some of this champagne or gold, and I'm going to cut some of that stem, and I'm gonna start at the bottom this time, and I'll share with you real quick why. So I'm gonna add a lot of glue, and I'm gonna bring it up. So I'm gonna add it first. I'm gonna add that right there. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I'm gonna cut these guys into two. First, I'm gonna cut right here. Then I'm going to cut right here, and that's going to give us two medium-sized ones. So I'm gonna add this guy right here on the top from the back, and that's gonna catch the light with the sun, and it's going to be so glittery and glistening, and it's just gonna be absolutely gorgeous. So I'm gonna add some of this side right here, moving my bow like this, pushing in. I'm gonna add one coming out of this one. I think for this one, I'm gonna do like a long one. So this one I'm gonna cut into two, but long and a short. And I'm gonna use my long one to come right out of the bow. The bow is our core. Remember, I'm always telling you there is a core where everything spills out of. Well, the bow is kind of like our core. So everything needs to come out of it and radiate from there. And that's what's gonna give your designs a balance. If you think of a core, I'm always telling you guys that think about a palm, how it grows, how it has all of those foliages coming out, kind of like this, but everything comes out of the trunk. Well, that's how you need to design. You need to decide what your core is, and everything needs to radiate from that. So now I'm going to add a really long one. So this one I'm gonna cut a little short, the stem, but I'm going to use it really long. So what I'm going to do is add a lot of glue, because the ones that are long, you have to add a lot of glue further up so it really stays. So I'm gonna add this guy right here. You guys, look how absolutely fun this reindeer head turned out on the door. The bow goes all the way down, almost to the floor, and that really creates a dramatic statement. But let's talk about drama with this bow right here. It was so easy to make. As you can see, we really transformed this reindeer head. We left a few of the greeneries on the top to kind of bring that greenery up, and it turned out so handsome, and he is definitely ready for a festivity this holiday season. I know that you can recreate this. You can also do this on a swag, on a wreath, but the reindeer head really takes it to the next level, and I am just absolutely obsessed with it. If you find this in your local shops, be sure to snag one or give Shinoda Design Center a call. They might still have this available for you, and you can create something different on your door this holiday season with this reindeer. All right, you guys, so here is the end result on this gorgeous and colorful wreath with a tiny little lights. I'm gonna step out a little bit so you can get the full effect of all of the bows and the ornaments, and the cute lights at night really do add a whole lot of whimsy to this wreath. And check out all of the flyaways and the bows. It is so festive, and like I said, this is perfect if you have kids in the house or if you have grandkids. They will love it because it is so cheerful and so full of life and just holiday cheer. I really hope that you learned a few tricks on this wreath, and we're gonna move on to the next DIY. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're gonna grab our wreath form, and I'm gonna grab my poinsettias. First of all, I'm gonna scoot all of the greenery up closer to the flower because I'm going to cut them really short. I want them to be as short as possible. And you know that I like to cut them all at once so that way I can move forward with my project and it'll be easier. And I think I might still have to clip them, but this is 5 bundles right here. So what you're going to do is you're gonna grab your poinsettia, and you know, this is one of the things that I do not like about the flowers from the dollar store because they don't stay on the stem very well. So what we're going to do is we're gonna reinsert her, And actually I'm gonna pitch that greenery. So I'm gonna start poking right here. They need to be probably about an inch. The stem needs to be about an inch. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cover this really cute form. And you guys, these are only $1. Can you believe that? I mean, that's why I'm always telling you to go to the dollar store for your mechanics, because they really do have some fantastic florals. If you're doing some projects like this, and this is perfect if you want to do them for like your sister-in-law, your mother, your neighbor. This would be a really cute gift, a hostess gift, because it doesn't cost much and anyone can use a cute little wreath at the door. And who doesn't like a traditional wreath, right? I am having so much fun sharing all of these ideas with you guys, and I really hope that you are having fun and enjoying all of these DIYs as I make them. You guys, this is already November 12th, which means we only get one more month of DIYing, and then of course the home decorating and the home tour. And I really hope that you will tune in to that, because I've been having a blast decorating for the home tour, and I really hope that you are as excited as I am. This year the theme is blue and white, and you guys know that I am obsessed with blue and white, and our next DIY will be something for the home tour, and I really hope that you'll tune in. Also, if you are enjoying this series, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, share with your friends on Facebook, on Instagram, and on WhatsApp, so they too can come and join this year's DIYs for Christmas. And I really hope to see you here next week. All right, before I continue poking flowers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my wire, and I'm going to put my wire right here. This is going to be our hanger, like this, and then I'm going to spin it really tight. And with the rest of the wire, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a loop, and I'm going to just spin this rest of these wires around like this. So that's going to become our hanger for our door, as you guys can see right here. And so now I'm going to continue poking some of these poinsettias, because I want to cover these very well. Now, here is the secret. If you want this for a gift, I do recommend to go ahead and poke your flower stem on perhaps a little bit of your hot pan or your glue gun, because that way when the winds come, they will not come undone. Because if you leave it like this, remember this is just for sharing purpose, but if I was to give this, like let's say to my mom, I would definitely put some glue in it. And what we do want to do is make sure that this wreath form is very well packed, because that's what's going to be the most impactful. And since these flowers are only $1.25, I mean, why not, right? All right, so far so good. Now I do have another one to do, so I'm gonna get the other one ready. It is very self-explanatory, and I'll be right back with you to give you the next step. Keep watching. All right, everyone, so before I continue, I wanna mention that at this point, you could also use this cute little wreath as a candle ring. You can also use it as a centerpiece by doing 2 or 3 along the table, and it will just be so spectacular. But that's not what we're doing today. I just wanted to give you a cute little suggestion, an extra plus. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to grab some greenery, something that you may have already laying around, and what you want to do is you want to start poking some of this greenery. In this case, I have some, what is this? This is pine, some sort of pine, but any Christmas greenery will do. And what you want to do is you want to go ahead and poke and then move to the same direction. Remember to always spin at the same direction, all of it. That way you're gonna have a beautifully cohesive wreath. And I absolutely love pine. It is one of my favorite greeneries to work with during the holidays, because what really screams holidays more than pines and cedars and just fresh greenery, right? You guys, I remember when I used to work at the flower shop and we used to do people's homes, and I loved it when somebody commissioned us to do fresh greens outside. Oh my gosh, there is nothing more beautiful than the smell of pine and cedar and all of that during the holiday season. It's just so much fun. All right, so far I've added some greenery, and that is really changing the look of it. But what really is going to throw it over the edge is going to be some of this beautiful glitter flyaways. Remember, it doesn't matter what we're doing, we have to put a flyaway on it. And remember, it comes in this cute little pick, but we're gonna cut it into two. So you do the same thing and go in the same way. And this is going to be just a little touch. I don't want to add a whole bunch of it because I don't want it to overpower my beautiful flower. So remember, what goes up must come down. We spin it around a little bit. I grab another one, I cut a little bit, and then I turn it into two because this is a smaller project, but it still has to have a flyaway, right? So I'm gonna insert into my foam, making sure that it really goes in. And then I'm going to go down over on this side. And remember to always, always, always insert go in the same direction, either in a clock motion or counterclock motion, because that's what's going to make your bouquet or arrangement, or in this case, your wreath, really come alive and have a balance. And remember, the balance is our best friend. What happens on the right happens on the left. What goes up must come down. Go big or go home. Be bold or don't bother. Those are my Ramonisms. What's the other one? Go big, go bold, or don't bother. Less is less, and more is more. Is another one of my pearls of wisdom. All right, so far it's turning out so beautiful. I'm gonna put it right here so you guys can see it. I'm actually gonna hang it right here so you guys can see how cute this is. And just by the magic of YouTube, I'm going to share the other one right here. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to grab some ribbon, and what I'm going to do is just a cute little bow with cute little tails. So maybe about 5-inch bow. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and do maybe a 4-loop bow. Yeah, 4 sounds right. Just because it's a smaller one, so I do want it to make a statement. And then I'm going to let this tail hang down. Look how easy, you guys. I am telling you, if I can do it, so can you. Don't be fooled by the fact that this is something that I do for a living. Trust me when I tell you, there was a time that I had no idea what I was doing, but I just keep trying. So I want to encourage you right now, if you're thinking about doing this for a business to make a living out of it, and if you're doubting whether you should start or not, get started, because if you don't get started, you will never be where you need to be. Remember that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth on his way. However, we have to be the one to take the steps and allow the Lord to guide the steps. We still have to do the work. So if you are thinking about doing this as a business, be sure to get started, because you'll be surprised where the Lord will take you. You guys, 7 years ago when I started my YouTube channel, I had no idea this was going to be my full-time job. I just love to share. So I am here to encourage you and let you know that if you do take the steps, the Lord will guide you and you will continue doing what you love. Once again, I just got all golf course there, but I felt like somebody needed that. If that was you, be sure to leave in the comment section below. You guys, it's just sometimes we need to be encouraged by somebody else, you know. There was a time where, I'll tell you a story. There was a time where I really just wanted to meet Rebecca Robinson, right? And it never happened. To this day, if I ever meet her, I'm gonna still tell her how much I admire her and stuff. But you know, a word of encouragement from her at that time would have been so nice, because I was just trying to do my thing. But now I recognize that sometimes we just have to trust that God has a plan, and you know, sometimes we're trying to make our own plans come alive, and we just have to trust. All right, so how cute is this, right? But now this is where it's gonna get really good. So I'm gonna grab another strip of ribbon. Let me see if I have my scissors somewhere around here. No, I don't. Let me see. I have another pair over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip of ribbon, probably about this much, and I'm going to cut right here. You guys, I'm telling you, I'm always preaching about being ready, and sometimes it's just because, you know why? I've been working in the studio, and I've been working inside decorating the house, and so I'm taking the tools from the studio to the inside of the house to decorate, and it's just been a lot, but here I am. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this strip of ribbon, and I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna go through here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this other wreath right here, and I'm gonna drop it in here, and I'm going to measure about how long do I really want this to hang down. And this is gonna be so gorgeous on the door. So what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna grab my hot glue gun and I'm gonna add some dots of glue right here without trying to burn myself and smear it really good on the ribbon. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this other ribbon right here on the top. I'm gonna allow this, oh, I just burned myself, this to dry. I'm gonna put it on the door and share with you the end result. Keep watching. Alright you guys, so this is what this dual wreath DIY for Christmas looks like on the door. As you can see, it is so stunning and it was super easy to make and with just a few dollars. Can you believe this is under $7 basically? Because we already had the ribbon, the picks, and all we have to get is 2 forms for the wreaths and then also all of the poinsettias, and they all are from the dollar store. You too can create a beautiful wreath for your front door. If you have a screen door, a flat door, or a storm door, this wreath is absolutely perfect for you. If you have a smaller door and if you want to do something creative, here is the perfect idea on how to decorate your door this Christmas. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment down below and let me know what do you think. And we are back, and I just want to explain real quick. So step number 1 is always to fluff your wreath because they come pretty flat on the backs. And then after that, we add our beautiful mesh, and this one has a really beautiful gold thread running through it, which is gonna catch the light and really sparkle. So the next step is to add our ribbons, and for that, you guys know that I like to add my ribbons on a bow motion. And what I like to do is, I like to do 2 loops like this. So for this one, I'm gonna do 3. I'm gonna do 3 loops, and every time I do a loop, remember to do them in a different length, so that way your loop, it's very full of texture and it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. So then I grab my wire and I put my bow right here, and I grab a bristle and I push all the way in and I twist that wire into the bristle, and that's going to attach my loop right here. But this time what I want to do is I want to do something different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this ribbon, I'm going to fluff my ribbon, and I'm going to go down like this. 1, grab 2 those bristles, and then 2, grab another 2 bristles. And remember, when you spin your wreath, what you'll have to spin to continue to do this, you have to go the same motion. So we always like to go that way. So now what I'm going to do is grab my ribbon and cut right here at a dovetail. Oh, I cut the wrong way. Oh, I cut the wrong way again. You guys, I've been cutting ribbons for 15 years and I still get it wrong. So don't feel bad when you cut those ribbons and you get it wrong, because look, I tend to get them wrong at least once when I'm working. So be sure to not worry about it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a tail. I'm going to go ahead and go down and then do another tail right here. And so it's going to give me a 2-loop bow. What I'm going to do is grab one of my wires. And remember, this wreath will be available on my Etsy shop. There is a few wreaths right now on my Etsy shop and they are ready to ship. If you do not want to make your own, then remember that my Etsy shop is open for the season right now, you guys. And thank you so much to all the people that have ordered my wreaths. I really hope that they will continue to make your season great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go this way and I'm going to repeat the same thing right here. So I'm going to do a loop. So I want to end up with like 3 bows and 2 long loops like this. And remember to make them in different lengths like this. So they're really fluffy and texture filled. And then also when we put all of the rest of the elements, you'll be able to fluff them by pulling those tails up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here, grab my bristle and twist that wire into my bristle really tightly. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this, remember? 1 loop, open those bristles up and cross them together, so like this. Then we continue to spin. We'll do 1 loop right here, and then I'll fluff my ribbon one more time and I'm going to do yet another loop right here. You know, working with ribbons really allows you to be creative, and that's what I'm always telling you guys, to just go ahead and give it a try, because you can always come up with something beautiful if you just give it a try. And that's what I'm always trying to, let me cut this the right way. I'm always trying to come up with new techniques so that I can share them with you guys to inspire you to create something beautiful. And then also, I know there is so many of you guys that I've read on the streets that say that you make these wreaths for sale. And that really makes me happy to know that I've helped you, you know, to start your business or to give you ideas for your business, because it really, all I want to do with this is to basically teach you, inspire you, entertain you, and encourage you to do your own thing. Because if I can do it, you guys, so can you. Trust me when I tell you that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same right here to close this, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. Okay, so to end our ribbon step, what I went ahead and did is I did my loops. Remember, I always like to add an accent ribbon like this. And so what I like to do is just dovetail my ribbon and make sure I do it the right way. And then what I do is I grab my wire and I'm gonna go up on the top right here. And then I'm gonna grab that bristle and I'm going to twist my wire, fluffing my bow, and then readjusting this tail because it's a little long. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut a little dovetail like that. But I do want those dovetails to really show, because I want, look at all this beautiful ribbon. It just makes so much texture, you guys. I'm telling you, you can create a gorgeous wreath with just ribbon if you wanted to. Remember the colorful wreath that we did on that 3 wreath video? It was my favorite and I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna put a video right here so you guys can see how absolutely stunning it was. It was so full of bows and color. And so this is basically the same technique that we are using for this particular wreath. And it's our bow technique that I absolutely love. It really does create, like I said, all of this beautiful texture, as you guys can see. So now what I'm going to do is adjust my ribbon right here. And just a little reminder, all of these materials are from David Christopher's, and you can be found at davidchristopher's.com. And you know, guys, you get that 10% off with the code Ramon10. I just thought I'd share it with you. All right, so once we've gotten to this point and we have all of this texture and all of these bows, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these beautiful poinsettias, and look how stunning these are, you guys. These are the salmon poinsettias. They are so beautiful. They are also on the Christmas tree, and if you have not seen that Christmas tree, let me tell you, it was so gorgeous, and it is the inspiration for all of these DIYs. So what we're going to do is we're gonna give it a little bit of a curvature like this, and I'm gonna grab my wire cutters and cut right there. I want it a little longer like that. Then I'm going to grab my hot glue gun, and you know that I like to be super generous with my glue, and then also I like to smear it on the stem because that's what really helps to hang on. Then what I like to do is go upside down like this, and I'm going to open all of these bristles to do a clean drop right here. And look at that. How stunning is this? So now remember, there's going to be 3, and when we do sets of 3s, we like to do a triangle. So the next one's going to go right about here. Once I fluffed my poinsettia, what I'm going to do is get a little bit of a curvature and then add a lot of glue to my stem and smear it all over the place. If you have not given this video a thumbs up, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, you guys. So let me know that you are enjoying this year's Christmas series. I'm having such a blast decorating for Christmas, sharing all of these beautiful DIYs and ideas with you. And so if you are enjoying them, be sure to share with your friends on Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, because they too need to come and be inspired for the holiday season 2023. And then also be sure to grab every single bristle like this and give them some character so that poinsettia really sparkles and shines on the sun. You know, this also will be so pretty indoors on top of a mantle, which we'll be doing here in a minute. And then I'm going to grab this, go like this, and remember to do that triangle. So I'm going to insert this guy right around here, going up like that. Look what a statement does that make, right? All right, everyone, I am back. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to add some of these ornaments to this wreath. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my hot glue gun, and remember to be generous with your hot glue, because this time what we want to do is make sure that all of those ornaments really stick to our wreath. So I'm gonna add one right there, and remember that what I like to do is I like to do a mat. Let me see if I can spin this towards you so you can really see better. So I like to do a mat right here, and I'm gonna grab a shiny to create more texture on our wreath, what I like to do is add 2 of them together like this, and just make sure that they tag on to that bristle or that greenery, and they're really going to be glued right there. So then what you need to do is you need to go ahead and spin around a little bit to the left like this, and I'm going to do the same thing in between all of the poinsettias. So there's going to be a cluster right there. You know what, I'm going to make an even bigger cluster by adding yet another one, and be sure to smear that glue really good, so that way it can tag on to all of this beauty right here. I'm gonna open my bow. Remember, all of these are going to be fluff at the end. I can kind of ran out of glue, which happens to me all the time. I'm used to it by now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do another one right here. Now in this case, I'm going to add a shiny big one, and remember to just go ahead and add all of that glue in there. I'm gonna lift up my petal right here, and I'm gonna stick this guy right in here. Look, because it is on the bristle, it really stays in there. So now I'm gonna grab a little matte one, and I'm going to add all of this glue, smear it a little bit, and so now I'm going to add this guy maybe right about here. So there's 2, and I'm going to need a third one. So for the third one, I'm going to do, I'm gonna do another shiny little one, because these shiny ones really do catch the light, so that's why I like to use them a lot on my wreaths. And I'm going to add this guy over on this side right there, and you'll see this cluster right here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do the third cluster, and I'll be right back to give you the next step. Keep watching. Okay, so we're back, and all of our clusters are in place, and they look absolutely gorgeous. So now our next step is going to be to add some flyaways, and for that I have this beautiful David Christopher's, it's almost like a rose gold flyaway, and I just absolutely love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide it in half, because I don't want it to be too bigger than the poinsettia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my hot glue gun, I'm going to smear it right here, and I'm going to lift up right here. Remember to do a clean drop, which means we really care where we drop our stems, and that we make sure that it's clean so we don't get the ribbons and the poinsettias and all those things. And remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and what goes up must come down, and we are always going to spin the same way. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this right here, and we're going to cut it into 2, and we're going to grab our glue. We're going to smear real quick. You guys, this is self-explanatory, but I do want to mention that 2 things. You have to continue to spin. That way you get the balance. Remember, balance is our best friend, and the way that we do that is repeating in our heads that what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. Balance is our best friend, and clean drop. So that way all of your wreath is clean at the end of when we're done with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another one. I'm going to cut right here at the joint, making 2 out of 1. Look how easy it really is. All you have to do is cut into half, and all of a sudden you have 2 stems instead of 1. And also another trick is to smear that glue so it really tacks on to our wreath right here. So we're gonna move some ribbons and some things around to drop right here. Look at that. And then we fluff our ribbon again. We grab our second one, and we're going to smear some of this glue right here, and then we're going to go down like this, because remember that what goes up must come down. And that's what's gonna start filling in our wreath, and then also give it a little bit of a spin so that we can add the next one. So what we're gonna do is cut in half one more time, and then cut a little bit of the stem off, giving us a little bit of a stem so we can glue in. And remember to be generous, because we don't want this to be flying in the air in somebody's door or your door. So what we're gonna do is stick it right there, and then I'm gonna add more glue to this stem right here. And remember, what goes up always comes down. So what I'm going to do is move some of these things right here and insert my stem. And that's gonna start to fill in all of my wreaths. So I'm gonna continue doing this because I have quite a few to go, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so this is looking absolutely spectacular, but now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna continue on that circular motion with some magnolia foliage. These were a long pick, and I just pulled them out, and I just created single individual magnolia foliage. This is really stiff, and it has some glitter in it, iridescent glitter, which is really going to catch the light in the sun. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a string of glue on the back, one on the front, and because it is plastic, it'll melt in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack it in. Look how absolutely gorgeous that is. That really adds a lot of texture. And so just make sure that you do add a lot of glue. I was going to say glitter. A lot of glue into your design right there. And so I'm going to put one right here like this. I'm going to continue going all the way around. It's quite a few that I have to do, and I'll be right back. Keep watching. Moving on to our next stem, which is going to be this gorgeous berry. Once again, I have a few of these beautiful David Christopher's berries. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue in it, and I'm going to start clean dropping right here. And this is going to give us a lot of texture. Look at that. And this matte gold with a little bit of silver glitter is so stunning. And so basically what I'm going to do is just smear my stem, go upside down, and then I'm going to go in some key spots. Remember to do a clean drop, and for that we kind of sometimes have to get on our tippy toes. And I'm going to continue to spin this wreath and continue to add these beautiful stems. Once again, very repetitive, but I wanted to give you this beautiful step of these berries. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it, and I'll be right back to give you another one. All right, you guys, so I am done with the berry, and as you guys can see, this wreath is turning out absolutely stunning. In person, there is so much texture, the ribbons, the berry, the glitter, the poinsettias, the ornaments, the magnolia foliage, it is just so beautiful. And so now, to make it really boho chic, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these dry eucalyptus, and I'm going to cut this into two, and I'm gonna tuck them in really tight. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my glue, and then I'm going to do clean drop here and there to give it even more texture with this beautiful eucalyptus. Look how absolutely stunning this is, you guys. It is so pretty, and it's going to add that ethereal feel to it. So what I'm going to do is open right here and just go in and pull in, and look at that. I don't want a lot of it because I don't want to take away from the poinsettias, as if it wasn't a lot already, right? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in between poinsettias and add this beautiful eucalyptus. And remember, you can cut it in half right here by just snipping right there. And now you have two. You cut your stem, and then we're going to add glue to it. And remember to just go in between the poinsettias as to save some of the product, and then also to not overpower the wreath. Let me cut one more, and then I'm going to add, look how absolutely stunning this is. I'm gonna add my glue right here, and I'm gonna, remember what goes up must come down, so I'm gonna open right here to do a clean drop, but I'm gonna make it going down. So you have one up, one down, then we'll spin around again, and we'll go in between another poinsettia right here. I'm gonna grab this one, and I just love seeded eucalyptus. I don't know if you know this about me, but when I worked at the flower shop, it was one of my favorite foliages to work with, seeded eucalyptus. And I'm sure you know that my favorite fresh flyaways are fern and spirea, because they have so much movement, and that's just what I love about fresh flowers. That is the thing about silk flowers that does not have the fresh flower does, which is the movement. Or so I'm gonna stick that one in there. Then I'm going to go like this. I'm gonna add a few more. Oh my gosh, it is so pretty. How absolutely gorgeous does this wreath turn out, you guys. You too can create a gorgeous wreath for your front door this holiday season with this absolutely stunning palette from David Christopher's. Look at how ginormous the poinsettias are and how much glitter there is to it, and the ribbon selection is so beautiful. As you guys can see, those ornaments really peekaboo, which really gives it that holiday feel. But one of my favorite items is perhaps the berries. They have all of the beautiful glitter and all of the picks, including that seeded eucalyptus. It just turned out absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to read your comments. So be sure to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this color scheme, and especially for this beautiful wreath DIY. All right, you guys, so for our last Christmas DIY, what I want to do is share with you how you can embellish a pre-made wreath. This is a gorgeous David Christopher's wreath, and look how absolutely stunning this is, you guys. We have to find the shape, and what you need to do is just give a little bit of a fluff, because they come pretty flat like a pancake when they come on the box. And so we just have to make sure that we grab every single flocked stem and then just give it a little bit of a pull, going one way around. Remember, you have to fluff your wreaths going clock motion or counterclock motion, but just one of them. Pick and choose, because that's what is going to give us the more natural look. And look, just by touching and pulling up, this wreath already looks absolutely more full and gorgeous. So we're going to touch every single one of them just to share with you how quick it really is. And now I'm going to look at it and see what is going to be my bottom. So that's going to be my bottom. So I'm going to put my wreath right there, and this is going to be the bottom right here. Look how absolutely stunning that wreath is. By the way, I'm going to leave David Christopher's information down below. Remember, they're offering you 10% off with the code Ramon10 on all your purchase throughout their whole website. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to embellish this wreath because it's already gorgeous, so we don't need much. And I wanted to match our centerpiece with the owl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my owl, and I'm going to get a wire, and this is a pre-taped wire that I had already pre-taped. And I've shared with you guys so many times how to wire a tape. And what I'm going to is I'm going to grab one of them, and I'm going to put it through my bird's foot like this. And then I'm going to do the second one, and I'm going to grab and put it through my bird's foot like so. Do you guys remember when I used to say like so all the time, and people used to give me so much grief of it? You said like so. I finally got out of that funk. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my bird right here. I'm going to put my hand through, and I'm going to find a way to stick my bird right into my wreath. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these wires that I put in to attach to one of the bristles right here, just by twisting that bristle. And I'm going to do the same with the back, and you can always pull like this. So that's gonna keep our bird right there. That's our first step. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna grab some ribbon. You guys, look how absolutely stunning this ribbon for our wreath is. It is bejeweled. It looks like Dorothy's slippers. It has all of these sequences, just absolutely stunning. I love it. And then I have this other ribbon. It's a little less expensive. That's gonna be our middle ribbon. It's this candy cane, because I want it to be like the centerpiece, to just have that pop of color. And then I have this other bejeweled ribbon in silver, and it's going to be so elegant. So you really don't need a lot of elements, as long as these elements are high-end and expensive looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch right here. I'm going to give it a tail, and then I'm going to go down. I want these loops to be really big, because it's just going to be basically a bow and a bird. Hey, I like that, a bow and a bird. That could be a movie. So I'm gonna do 3 loops like this, and then I'm going to let that tail hang down. That's gonna be right there. And then on top of that, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my other ribbon like this. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna give it a little tail like so, and I'm gonna give it another tail. So that's gonna be our second tail like that. We'll dovetail in a second. And then what I'm going to do is grab another one of these right here. So I'm gonna give it another tail like this right here, without letting go of my core. This is my core right here, and remember, I'm not letting go, and basically I'm hanging on with my thumb and this index finger right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do some other loops like this, and then I'm going to go the opposite side like this, and I'm going to do just 2, and then I'm gonna leave another tail like that. So now I have 3 tails, 4 loops, accent ribbon, main ribbon. And now I'm going to introduce this guy right here, which is the bejeweled one, and I'm gonna put it facing forward like this. I'm gonna give me another tail, and then I'm going to do loops with this ribbon. So I'm gonna have 1. Look how easy it is. Anyone can do it. Jameson, do you think you can do it?
Time to time.
Do you remember last year I shared with you how Jameson did a bow, and it was so much, we had so much fun. Sometimes we watch that video just to get a kick out of it, because we had so much fun doing that. All right, so I'm gonna do another one right here. I wanna see how much tail I have. And then I'm going to do yet another one right here, pulling forward. And so now this is going to be my longer tail. It's a very, very pretty bow. And now I'm gonna grab a wire, and I'm gonna go through all of this. And it is a pre-taped wire. Remember, you guys, I'm always telling you to tape your wire so that way you can, look, really pull without hurting your fingers. So we're gonna go back and pull really tight. And I'm going to cinch really tight. You could also do a zip tie if you wanted to. And so now what we can do is fluff this bow like this. We can see all of the tails. Look how cute and simple this is. So now I'm gonna put it down to dovetail all of my ends, because remember, I'm always telling you, if I come to your house and your wreath has undovetailed ribbons, I'm going to ask you for a pair of scissors so that I can do it for you. All right, and I love the combination of these ribbons because it has enough silver, enough red. Let me see, I want this to be a longer one. You can also always wait to dovetail your ribbons when it's hanging on the door, so that way you know exactly the length. And this particular one, what I'm going to is I'm gonna give it a little bit of a curl. And look what happens when you have a good quality ribbon, you guys. Just by curling it like this, it's going to stay exactly where I put it. Like this. Just give it a little curl. Look how stunning of a ribbon. Isn't that gorgeous? And so now what I'm going to is I'm going to grab my wires right here, and I'm going to attach right where my bird is, going through his little paws. It's not paws, what is it? It's talons? Talons. It's verified by our fact checker, Jameson. You guys, we've been having so much fun this holiday season, just sharing with you guys all of these DIYs. I really think Jameson's finally getting off of his, I'm too shy. All right, so I'm going to go all the way back. I'm gonna attach this. I'm gonna have to take it off the stand, so let me attach this real quick and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, so I added my bow, I fluffed my wreath, and I added my gorgeous little owl that matches our centerpiece so well. So now it looks like he has dandruff with all of the flocking. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it to the door and share with you guys a close-up. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so I wanna give you a close-up of this super cute Christmas wreath. Look how simple it is to create a gorgeous statement on your front door. All you need is some really good quality wreath and ribbons. I want to share the details of this ribbon right here. Absolutely stunning. Look at that. When that catches the light, it is so pretty. And this one, you guys, look at all of the jewels. And as you can see, there is not much of it. It's just a little touch, and it really does create a festive look with all of the white and the red and all of the glittering and all of the jewels and stone, and of course the little owl. It is so cute, absolutely adorable, and I really hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. All right, everyone, so we're gonna create a beautiful swag for your doorway, because as I mentioned before, I like to make the big first statement at the door. And right now I'm gonna show you step by step on how you can create a beautiful first statement for your front door this Christmas season. So I'm gonna tell you the materials real quick, but I'm gonna keep mentioning as I go, so that way you guys know where they're coming from. All of the ribbons we're gonna be using, the same ribbons that we used on the Christmas tree and that we're gonna be using on the mantle, came from Shinoda, and actually I just basically used one bolt of each. We have the beautiful red one, we have the stripy one, and then we're gonna introduce this really beautiful candy cane ribbon right now. We're gonna use one ornament that looks like a peppermint candy. We're gonna use one red ornament. They're already pre-wired. If you guys know me, you know that I like to pre-wire my ornaments because it makes my job way faster. We're gonna use a few of the flocked white picks as well as some of the flocked cedar picks. I'm going to use 2 of the iridescent ornaments in the large. I might introduce a few of the smaller ones, not sure yet. And then also I'm gonna use a few picks that I will introduce in a second. So let me just get started real quick. The very first thing you need to do is fluff your wreath, your garland, your swag. Your Christmas tree, fluff, fluff, fluff is the very first thing you need to do. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of the bows that I made, a one loop bow. Remember to have your wire already ready. And I'm gonna add it right here to the top. And I'm just gonna basically swirl it once to the left to one of my bristles. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a big loop like this. And I'm gonna go all the way in right here. And then I'm gonna do it one more time, leaving just a few inches for a tail. And remember, we want those loops to be big like this because we want, we're gonna put bigger items on it, so we want to make sure that they show. So then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab the rest of this ribbon and I'm gonna drop it on the floor like I always do. Thumbs up for this video, you guys. Are you enjoying this holiday season? I'm having such a blast sharing with you guys all of these ideas, and I just hope that you are as well. So basically I just did a one loop, then you twist real quick. I'm gonna grab one of my wires. Always have all of your tools at the ready. That is the biggest secret I can give you when you are decorating. If you're out doing decorating for clients, if you're doing it for your store, if you're doing them to sell, have all of your tools at the ready, and that will help you be way faster than anyone else in the industry also. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do one more loop right here, and I'm doing one loop just because it's a smaller swag. In the Christmas tree and in a larger wreath, I would do two loops to create a bigger statement. But because this is a smaller swag, then I just want to go ahead and do one loop bows. Then I'm going to grab right here and I'm going to tie it and creating this loop right here. Make sure that you see all your tails. And let me go ahead and dovetail this one because you guys have cut me before where I'm preaching about dovetailing your ribbons, and I'm the first one who does not have one that is dovetailed. So I'm gonna dovetail right there. See how you see all the points? That is looking so pretty. So now I'm gonna introduce this really beautiful ribbon. Let me move this in case that you cannot see what I'm doing. I'm gonna put all materials to my right. So I'm gonna introduce this other really beautiful material. I'm gonna drop it on the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dovetail. A lot of people say ducktail. I said dovetail, but you can say whatever you want. There is no wrong or right. So because I'm gonna start right here on the top, I'm gonna do a 3-loop bow. So I'm gonna do one, and look how easy it is. You basically just pinch, 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 fluff, twist, and then you will, once again, this is how you're gonna measure it. You're measuring guide, and then you twist right there, and see how we have 3 loops. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my wire, I'm gonna pull back all the way very tightly, and then twist once or twice, and then we're going to introduce this right here on the top with the other bow. I'm just gonna make sure that I grab this bristle and I give it a little spin like that, and see we're creating kind of like a funky bow, making sure that all of these tails show. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do bigger loops once again, and I'm gonna go right in the middle, and see how that's filling in. I'm gonna do one right there, and then I'm gonna grab my ribbon and I'm gonna do one more right here. Basically just cross those bristles. You guys, if I can do this, so can you. Trust me when I tell you, this is the easiest thing you'll ever do for your Christmas decorating, and I really hope that you are giving it a try. I just want to give you the ideas, and that way you can make it your own and create your very own version of what you see. And if you do that, be sure to send me the picture on Instagram or tag me, because I would like to share with everybody else so they're seeing what you're able to do. So if you are replicating any of the looks this year, I recommend to tag me on Instagram so I can share with the world and they can see it. See your talents. So basically I did a 3-loop bow right here, and I have one right here. Remember, I did a 1 loop. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a 2-loop bow, and we're gonna go on the other side, and that's gonna create some depth. So I'm gonna do 1, pinch, twist, fold, pinch, and twist. See how easy that was? Grab your wires that we already have pre-cut, and we're going to really tightly without letting go. 1, 2, and so now this one I'm going to introduce right here. on this side. I'm gonna grab one bristle, give it 2 twists, fluff. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a few loops to fill in on this side, and just very tightly. Look at that. 1 and 2. All right, I think that's good. That's gonna be good. If you feel like I feel right now, this loop is really small. So what I'm going to do, hang on one second, because this one will not want to attach. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull like that, create those loops. Look how pretty that is. And so this one I'm gonna leave short, because I already have a lot of tails on the bottom. How cute is that? All right, so I'm gonna let go of that ribbon. I might come back and put another one over on this side. But right now what I wanna do is I wanna introduce these little ones, these little ribbons that I have already pre-wired. I'm gonna use 2, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add 1 to this side, and look how that's going to be incorporated into the bow, into our funky bow. And so now we have 3 types of ribbons. We're gonna do one right here, and then we're going to do another one over here. How cute is this, you guys? I love the peppermint or the candy cane theme for Christmas. I just think it is classic. It is fun if you have any children, to really make it fun for them, colorful, very, very playful. All right, so I'm gonna do one more right there. I'm gonna do a loop, and I'm going to attach right here. And so that way we have our ribbons all throughout the swag. And I'm gonna leave this tail short. So I'm gonna cut, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do one more loop all the way to the bottom, because we're gonna add some elements, so that's kind of gonna hide some of it, like that. So cute. All right, so the next thing I wanna add is gonna be some of this flat cedar that I have, and this is gonna be kind of like our flyaways, okay? So basically you wanna give them some shape like this. I'm gonna open up right here, and I'm gonna insert one right here, and just grabbing one of these branches from my swag is gonna let it stay. I'm gonna put one right here. This is what we did to our Christmas tree, which, by the way, if you have not seen the Christmas tree to match this theme, it was absolutely spectacular. It had some characters hanging off and grabbing a garland. It was just so much fun. If you have not seen, I'm gonna put on the iCard right now, and then also in the description box below, so you can check it out. But it was probably my favorite Christmas tree that I've ever done. And let me tell you, I've done some Christmas trees here on the channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach another one right here, and see to where before you thought there was a lot of ribbon, now when you start adding these picks, it really starts hiding the ribbon and giving a dimension. So I'm gonna add one right here on the top, and just grabbing one bristle and just twisting, and it's gonna make that stay. And of course we're gonna go in the back later and then bring all of these ribbons back out, but first it kind of gets flat. All right, so I'm gonna add, you know, one over here. I'm gonna go all the way on the top. I'm gonna grab one of these bristles and just twist it around. Look how fun this was. Oh my gosh, love it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring my first ornament, which is going to be this red one, and I'm gonna go right here, and I'm gonna look for a bristle. And the way I'm gonna attach with my wire is I'm gonna grab the bristle with my left hand, and I'm gonna push this ornament as far in as I can, then I'm gonna twist it. That way it looks like it's growing from the swag. And I'm gonna show you one more time. I'm gonna add a white one next. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. So now I'm gonna go to the right, and I'm gonna go right here, and I'm gonna touch with my left hand side. I'm gonna grab this bristle, and then I'm gonna push in as far as I can this ornament, and then I'm gonna twist. And so that way it's gonna stay right there. How fun is this? Oh, that is so cute. Right, so now I'm gonna do this peppermint one, and I'm gonna go right here, and I'm gonna grab this bristle, and I'm gonna, with my left, push all the way in, and then give it a twist. And that ornament's gonna stay right there. There's no wind that is going to be strong enough to take this apart, I promise you. All right, so now we start fluffing all of our bows so they show a little bit more. Let me see, do I have space for another one? I don't have space for another big one, but I'm going to disappear for a second to grab a few of the smaller ones over on this side. That's where I have all of my ornaments. And so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of these large ones and I'm gonna go up here on the top, grab it with the left, put it where you want it, and then give it a twist. And look, even going up, it'll stay right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go over to this side. Let's see. I'm gonna put it all the way in the bottom. You might not see it right now, but we'll see it when I show you on the door. Like this. Perfect. Okay, so I show you these particular pics when we decorate the tree, and this is something that I would go ahead and glue. So I would definitely just dip it into my glue and then grab the spot where you want it and stick it right in there, and that's gonna start filling in all of the spots that you might see that you need something, like right here. This just helps to look, and remember to go in a zigzag pattern. So I'm gonna use 5 of them. I'm gonna insert one right here because you wanna make sure that you have something every time your eye travels down. You wanna have something. Now also what you can do is give it a little curvature like this to create a hook, and then you go ahead and hook it in here like this. And I have a last one that I'm gonna put over on this side right here. Now this I'm gonna go back and glue because this is going to go out for sale. So I wanna make sure that this is wind resistant for anyone that is going to buy it. So now the thing that I'm going to add is going to be this really beautiful candy cane or peppermint popsicles. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna give it a little curvature like this to create the hook. And once again, you wanna go ahead and dip this into your glue, and then you wanna go ahead and add them as it goes down like this. And with these particular candy canes, you wanna make sure that you have them kind of clustered together. So I'm gonna add 2 right here. I'm gonna add 1 right here because it will show better if you have them clustered together than if you don't. So basically I'm gonna give this a little curvature like this. And I'm going to add this guy right here. Also what you could do is just grab one of your bristles and give it a twist. But look how fun this is, you guys. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this one, but because this one's gonna go in the bottom, I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna put it going up, and it's gonna show all the way in the bottom, like this. This is so fun. All right, so the last element that I'm going to add is going to be our flyaway, and this is gonna be this sugared cedar. It's more like a fern. This is a fern. It is a beautiful, oh, you know what it is? It is a bleached fern. That's what it is, which also it's good because I can use it on wedding work. So I'm gonna start up here and I'm gonna get one. Look at this. Oh my gosh. This sugary, frosty, beautiful pick. It's perhaps my favorite thing that I purchased this whole year because it gives it so much dimension. Oh my God, I'm in love with this. Okay, I'm gonna add this right here. Just making sure that you give that curvature that it needs to fly away. And I'm gonna add this one over on this side. All right, everyone, so I just wanna show you the end result of this beautiful peppermint swag or candy lane swag. I just love all of the color and texture on this. I did go ahead and add 3 poinsettias like the ones on the tree. As you guys can see, there's one right here, one over in the middle, and one on the top, and that just gives it that last finishing touch that you needed to really tie in with the Christmas tree. I cannot wait to read your comments, so give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment to let me know what do you think about this particular look. All right, you guys, well, that's all I have for today, and I really hope that you enjoy and learn a few tips and tricks on how to create some beautiful wreaths and swags for Christmas this year. I cannot wait to read your comments, so be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know which out of all of these wreath DIYs was your favorite. I love reading your comments. It's my favorite thing to do on Sundays. And if you want to learn more about wreath making and how to sell them, be sure to come and join us on our private group, Ramon at Home Masterclass, on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and as always, you can watch more videos right now. Until next time, bye.